on you.
What will you remember most about tonight? The 42 points career high, 10 made threes career high, or hearing MVP Grayson Allen chants?
Probably the MVP. I don't know how many times that's going to happen. That was pretty cool. I'll never take for granted like the amount of support and appreciation I have here from the fans. It's awesome. It's surreal. And it makes it a lot of fun to go out there and play home games when you know like this fan base has been so supportive of me the last 3 years, and even like the first year here, like this was the place where I'd never seen so many of my own jerseys out of all the other places I've been in the league. So it's been really cool to see, and also I love the fans that we have here.
The other thing I had was, at what point were you thinking that this could be the night you set a career high in points or a career high in threes? At what point in the game were you like, okay, this is reachable right now?
I'm going to be honest, I was more thinking about the 10 threes and more just because I feel like I don't know how many times I've gotten 9, but it feels like I've gotten it a lot, and I've had a chance for 10 a lot of times. I've just missed the 10th. So I think when I went back in and then I hit 2 or 3 more quick ones there, I think then at that point I was kind of thinking, how many do I have now? And somebody said 9. And so once I knew I had 9, I have to be honest, I knew I wanted 10 at that point just because I know how many times I've hit 9 here and knowing what the record is.
Grayson, you and Royce this season have been in the top 5 of three-pointers made, and you've been consistently tied with each other. Is this your way of kind of just usurping that and saying, hey, catch me now?
No, he'll have a game where he hits 8 or 9 of them too, and he'll catch right back up. So I know it'll come right back around. He's been great and incredibly efficient, and he's always in the right spot for the pass. So it's not going to surprise me if he starts creeping up 7, 8, 9, or maybe even 10 one game this year.
You've had a handful of games over your career, even dating back to college, I'm sure, where you get on a heater like this and do you feel the crowd kind of anticipating everything you're doing from there? It's kind of like the Steph thing, right, where it feels like everyone's captivated by what you were doing, because the crowd was getting to that point in the fourth quarter for sure.
A little bit, because when you catch the ball and you start going into the shot, you hear the crowd, the volume in the crowd start to rise a little bit, and then it's either the loud cheer or the if you miss. And that's you mentioned Steph, that's the really cool things about Warriors home games when he gets it going, is you can even hear it on TV, the entire crowd just anticipating him making it no matter what shot it is. So I think we had a little bit of that tonight, the second half, when I came in and got it going, and it's cool, but it also puts a lot of pressure on those shots when everyone's anticipating it going in.
Is a lot of that moment, too, looking at your bench after some of these makes and seeing them just, absolutely losing their minds?
Yeah, and I was talking to Jalen the whole game, and Jalen just, every time I came back to the bench, he was just amping me up to go for 40, or go for 50, go get 10, go get 11, go get 12 threes. So a lot of the time I was looking over there at him and seeing his reaction.
We've talked to you a lot about your time in Utah, Memphis, early in the league, where you were more of a combo on the ball, and now you're back on the ball a little bit more this year. As a shooter, does that help just to have the ball in your hands more and shoot the ball better, or is that maybe overblown for someone like you who's such a great shooter at this point anyway?
No, it definitely helps. I think you get used to one way or the other, but take, for example, Milwaukee, when I was first in Milwaukee, and Giannis is on the ball most of the time, and there might be a few possessions go by where it's not even about getting a look. You might not touch it just because he's going to go and score in the paint. And then the next time you catch it, it's got to go up. Sometimes that's tough, and sometimes that takes getting used to, whereas when you're a combo a little bit on the ball, like even if I'm not getting a shot, there's a lot of times even if it's just a catch and a quick swing or a drive and a kick, like it's not even about getting a shot up. It's just about touching the ball, being involved, and being in a little bit more rhythm. I think that helps. It definitely makes it easier to find that rhythm throughout the game. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to do it whether you have it or not.
Grayson, just looking at the response from your teammates out on the court, Jalen during the walk-off, what was the locker room like just now for you, and kind of what was being said?
It was a cool reaction. Everyone was saying congrats, and I'm glad they didn't find 30 water bottles to throw on me. We have an extremely fun team, and vibes are always high in the locker room after a win, and after a night like tonight, felt like they all had my back and they were all excited for me. So it's cool to be able to, it's not just me alone having this moment. It's cool to be able to share with the rest of the team.
How gratifying, Keller was talking about your time in Utah, then obviously you were in Memphis. It took a few years for your NBA career to kind of really get going. How gratifying are nights like this, considering, all the time you've put in, and to be, 30 years old now and be kind of the peak of your career? I mean, do you feel like you're playing your best basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely playing my best right now, and it's a lot of fun. I feel like I've gotten better each year, and saying that I'm 30 feels kind of weird to say, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I've just kept getting better and better, and I think finding a home here the last 2 seasons and finding a spot in the system, and being extremely comfortable and how I play off a book has helped me a lot these last 2 years, and getting even better, and being trusted to do a little bit more with the ball. All those things have contributed, but it's you put a lot of work in the off season, but the opportunity isn't always there, and so I'm first and foremost just extremely grateful for the opportunity to go out there and do and show what I've worked on.
You had, it was in the second quarter, a possession where you guys came down and the ball just moved, zipped around. You guys got paint touches and it just kept moving around the perimeter, and it found you on the wing in the final seconds of the shot clock, and you made a three. In a situation like that, do you have kind of like the shot clock, like an internal, clock in your head that's letting you know the shot clock's running down, or are you glancing up and looking at the clock?
Yeah, I mean, we usually have a call from the bench when it gets low, around like 7. And then we usually know, I think I swung the ball early, like maybe midway through the possession, and we had a few more passes and then a drive, and then it came back to me on the weak side. So at that point, I knew when I caught it, like it had to go up right away. I didn't know if it was 2 seconds or 1 second. I just knew that if I'm going to get the shot off, it had to be a catch and shoot.
The unselfishness that you guys have shown these first 11 games, does it surprise you at all? Is it a little uncommon just how well you guys are sharing the ball?
I definitely think it's uncommon, especially for a group that hasn't been together for years and years. It takes a lot of trust in each other to not just say, I'm going to go get it, and to force your way into a shot. And with the way we're moving it offensively, like if something's not there early, like we don't have to break it off and go ISO. There's constant movement. Like tonight we had possessions where we had 5 or 6 or 7 guys run up and slip out on the ball, and it just swung, and the ball's going to move sides. So like if you get off the ball early, everyone has trust that we're going to get a good shot that possession. The ball could come back, and I think that's what's cool about our offense is the majority of the time, like we're going to find the right person in the offense to get the shot, and it doesn't matter who it is, it's whoever's open. And I don't think that's a common thing in the league, especially for a team that's hasn't been together for very long. Like you have to have a lot of faith in your teammates that the ball's going to come back around.
Hey, Grayson. So you guys look like you're having a lot more fun out there this year than you did last year when so many things were fractured. What's the difference? And I've got another one after that.
Well, I want to be careful like comparing this team to last year because it's so different. And even like last year, we had a great start to the year, and our energy was great. Everyone was having fun playing. So around this time last year, like things were going awesome, and vibes were great. It was a fun way to play basketball, and we were getting wins. So, but this group this year, the way we're playing and the way our defense is connected to our offense, and we're relying on each other, 5 guys offensively and defensively, and the activity is extremely high. The energy is extremely high on the court and on the bench. So when we have games like tonight or, some of the last 5 games where everything is connected on both ends of the floor, it's extremely fun. And it's a really fun way to play. And we have a high-energy group, too, that, like, when things are going well, makes it a lot of fun. And when things are going bad, like, we have a lot of guys that are trying to get it to go the right way.
So you said, basically working off of Booker. What are you talking about? What do you mean? And how do you guys work together? And what did you learn from him?
I just think on the court, with all the teams I've played on and all the great players I've played with, I think from a chemistry perspective, offensively, with playing with him has been the easiest. A lot of our small stuff that we've had so many different variations of the last few years, from slipping out to screening and rolling or hitting and holding the screen, and then to get the mismatch, and then staying up high as the shooter in the high quad so that they can't shift off, or if they do, it's a kick out for a 3, or our stack pick and roll action with him handling and me screening, or me handling him screening. There's a lot of actions out there on the court offensively that we're in together. And I feel like we just have a really good chemistry going with that. And he's a very easy guy to play with. He always makes the right play, and he can do just about anything out there on the court offensively, from handling the ball and making skip passes, throwing it into the pocket, like whatever it is.
Grayson, congrats on a career night. Ott told us that he wants to see you shoot more. Just how has him and the staff just kind of helped, bring that out of you, and just what's that relationship like with them?
We've looked at a lot of film and a lot of spots on the court where I can get up more threes. I think from a volume perspective this year, a lot of my extra attempts have come off the dribble. So a little bit of that comes from being on ball, but it's also just from me practicing and working on some of those pocket threes, or coming off the screen and dragging it out, and hitting a little bit more threes on the move and off the dribble, and all the stuff that I worked on this summer, but also that the coaching staff has continuously told me just to look for those opportunities and look for those openings, and don't hesitate, just go and take them. It's funny that, like, there's 5 games ago or 6 games ago, there was a game I had, I think, 12 threes, and we watched film on 5 threes that I passed up. So I'm sure maybe after this game I'll get shown some clips of threes that I passed up, but that's just kind of the mentality that they have and how they've been coaching me on shooting it. It's just don't pass any up.
Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grayson.